Goku launches a ferocious physical assault against the rogue angel Aeos, the impact of his fist connecting with such terrifying velocity that the surrounding atmosphere ripples with the shockwave of the blow. The sheer kinetic energy behind the strike sends Aeos hurtling across the desolate horizon of Beerus's planet, her body cutting a path through the air like a fallen star, as Goku stands his ground with a look of absolute determination. The landscape itself seems to groan under the pressure of the divine energies being exerted, and the intensity of the struggle radiates outward in waves of heat and shimmering light. Goku issues a stern warning to his opponent regarding the safety of his family, his voice vibrating with the weight of a protector who has been pushed to his absolute limit. Standing amidst the dust and the scorched earth, Goku continues to challenge the fallen angel, beckoning her to return and engage in the conflict with everything she has. The air is thick with the scent of ozone and the heavy pressure of godly ki, creating an environment that feels as though it might shatter at any moment. Goku does not waver, his red aura flickering like a controlled solar flare against the darkening sky of the destroyer's realm. Every fiber of his being is attuned to the threat before him, and his posture remains aggressive and ready for the inevitable retaliation. The celestial attendant Whis steps forward, with a look of deep concern etched onto his refined features, attempting to bring an immediate halt to the escalating violence that threatens to tear the immediate vicinity apart. He speaks with a sense of urgent authority, indicating that the current course of action is unacceptable and must not be allowed to proceed any further for the sake of the universe. The serene environment of the God of Destruction's world is now a battlefield of divine proportions, and Whis recognizes the catastrophic potential of an angel-level entity engaging in such a direct and brutal manner. His presence adds a layer of formal gravity to the scene, highlighting the forbidden nature of the combat taking place. Goku experiences a moment of profound confusion as he tracks the movement of his adversary, finding that Aeos has seamlessly manipulated time to stand casually in a completely different location. The temporal transition is so seamless and instantaneous that Goku is left staring at the empty space where his opponent stood only a fraction of a second prior. This display of effortless time mastery sends a jolt of realization through Goku, emphasizing that the entity he is fighting operates on a level of temporal mechanics that transcends normal combat experience. The environment remains still and silent around Aeos, who shows no signs of physical exertion or injury from the previous thunderous strike. Aeos stands with an air of complete nonchalance, regarding the previous attack with a sense of mild disappointment as if she were critiquing a novice's opening move. She expresses a total lack of physical discomfort, noting that the punch did not even register as a sting against her divine skin. The fallen angel's posture is relaxed, her hands resting easily at her sides, which serves to further mock the monumental effort Goku exerted to land the blow. The psychological weight of this indifference is heavy, casting a shadow over the Goku's resolve as the disparity in their power levels becomes increasingly apparent. Vegeta watches the battle from the sidelines, his sharp eyes narrowing as he analyzes the grim reality of the situation. He acknowledges that the efforts of Goku appear to be nothing more than the fumbling of a rookie in the eyes of their opponent. The Prince of Saiyans notes, with a growing sense of dread, that even the heightened state of Mastered Super Saiyan Blue would be entirely ineffective against the rogue angel's defenses. Vegeta recognizes that Aeos is merely toying with them, hiding a reservoir of power so vast that their current survival is likely a matter of the angel's whim rather than their own strength. Aeos looks down upon her opponent with a condescending gaze, offering another opportunity for Goku to reveal whatever hidden depths of power might still be lurking within his mortal frame. She speaks of the future with a sadistic curiosity, suggesting that the upcoming struggle will be a test of whether Goku can live up to the expectations of his lineage and the safety of his family. The fallen angel's words are designed to probe the emotional vulnerabilities of the warrior, using the threat to his loved ones as a catalyst to force out a greater evolution of divine ki. The atmosphere is charged with a predatory energy as Aeos prepares to escalate her participation in the game. The fallen angel extends her hand with practiced grace, manifesting a shimmering temporal rift through which she reaches to seize the leg of Goku. The movement is precise and inescapable, catching the warrior off guard despite his heightened senses and godly reflexes. Aeos challenges the mortal to demonstrate what a being with evolved god ki can truly achieve when faced with the absolute authority of an angel. The physical contact is a jarring reminder of Aeos' superiority, as she maintains a firm, unbreakable grip on the Goku's ankle, preparing to use him as a tool for her own amusement. With a sudden and violent exertion of strength, Aeos hurls Goku across the landscape, the Saiyan's body becoming a blur of red light as he is tossed like a discarded toy. Aeos demands a display of power, her voice echoing across the training grounds with an imperious tone that leaves no room for refusal. Goku struggles to stabilize himself in mid-air, but the sheer force of the throw has disrupted his his equilibrium and control over his momentum. The environment flashes by in a chaotic smear of colors as Goku is forced into a defensive posture against the overwhelming physical dominance of the angel. Aeos manifests a series of temporal distortions in rapid succession, using them to deliver a monstrous punch directly to the face of Goku before the warrior can react. The fallen angel continues this tactical bombardment, striking from multiple angles and directions simultaneously by manipulating the flow of time itself. Goku is caught in a whirlwind of invisible strikes, his body regaining balance but still recoiling from blows that seem to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. This sophisticated application of temporal manipulation leaves Goku battered and disoriented, unable to mount any form of coherent defense against the chronological assault. The fallen angel commands Goku to fight for his people, and to prove his worthiness through blood and struggle. Aeos' tone is that of a dark mentor, forcing him into a corner where only a breakthrough in power will allow for survival. The relentless nature of the attack is designed to strip away Goku's composure and force him into a state of pure, desperate instinct. The surrounding terrain is shattered and scarred by the collateral energy of the exchange, reflecting the high stakes of a battle that has moved beyond a mere sparring match into a life-and-death struggle for the fate of the seventh universe. A powerful kick from Aeos sends Goku soaring high into the upper atmosphere, only for the angel to reappear above him and drive him back down toward the hard earth with a crushing blow. The impact of the Goku's body hitting the ground creates a massive crater, sending plumes of dust and debris hundreds of feet into the air. Goku lies in the center of the destruction, his breathing labored and his aura flickering as the physical toll of the beating begins to accumulate. Despite the damage, he forces himself to leap back onto his feet, refusing to yield to the overwhelming pressure being exerted by his divine tormentor. Goku rises to meet Aeos eye to eye in the sky, his chest heaving as he struggles to catch his breath against the heavy, divine atmosphere. He realizes with a sinking feeling that his opponent has barely exerted any effort at all, while he himself feels as though his reserves are nearing their limit. The realization that there is currently nothing in his arsenal capable of stopping the rogue angel's advance weighs heavily on his spirit. The vastness of the sky above Beerus's planet feels oppressive and empty, mirroring the growing sense of hopelessness that threatens to cloud his focus. Aeos mocks the physical state of Goku, comparing him to an insignificant insect that has reached the end of its capabilities. She dismisses him as nothing more than a bug that will never be anything greater, regardless of the divine titles or forms he might achieve. This cold, analytical assessment of the mortal's limitations is delivered with a terrifying lack of malice, making the insult feel like an objective truth of the universe. The fallen angel hovers effortlessly in the air, her pristine form a stark contrast to the bruised and exhausted Goku standing before her. Watching from a distance, Vegeta observes the one-sided nature of the conflict with a grim expression, realizing that his rival is struggling just to maintain his footing. He fears that if the battle continues in this manner, Goku will surely burn out his remaining energy and be killed by the sheer magnitude of Aeos' power. Vegeta notes that the angel is not even demonstrating a fraction of her true potential, treating the entire engagement as if it were a minor distraction. The Prince of Saiyans contemplates the possibility that even the pinnacle of their achievements, the state of Ultra Instinct, would fall short against such a primordial threat. Aeos begins to clap slowly and rhythmically, acknowledging the internal observations of Vegeta with a chilling accuracy. She reveals that she is capable of reading and hearing the thoughts of those around her. Aeos expresses a twisted form of admiration for Vegeta's willingness to admit the impossibility of victory, yet she still demands to see the fruits of the prince's power. The invasion of mental privacy adds a new layer of horror to the encounter, as the heroes realize they have no secrets and no internal refuge from the angel's scrutiny. Vegeta responds with a defiant stance, asserting that they will find a way to emerge victorious as they always have in the past. He refuses to accept the finality of their current predicament, insisting that the battle is far from over, despite the apparent disparity in strength. Aeos dismisses these threats as meaningless, claiming that no plan could ever be forged that she would not already be aware of. She compares his resolve to the empty lies of dozens of warriors she has encountered across the eons, all of whom believed they could surpass a being of nearly unlimited power. The fallen angel delivers a scathing critique of the Saiyan race and the seventh universe as a whole, labeling their ideals and their very existence as fundamentally flawed. She contrasts their imperfection with her own self-perceived absolute nature, claiming to be a being without fault. Aeos then mentions a figure from her original home in Universe Zero, a Saiyan who bore a striking resemblance to Vegeta. This revelation causes a visible ripple of shock to pass through the Prince of Saiyans, as he is forced to consider the existence of a parallel version of himself from a destroyed reality. Aeos describes Universe Zero as one of the highest-ranking realms in all of creation, presided over by a demon god of destruction of immense divine power. She explains that among the inhabitants were a small number of extremely powerful Saiyans, led by a galactic ruler who mirrored the appearance and temperament of Vegeta. This king was a mighty warrior who led a vast army and stopped at nothing to achieve his desires, marking him as a true sovereign of his stars. However, Aeos notes that this alternate king and his entire military force were ultimately wiped out by their own god of destruction, serving as a cautionary tale of the fragility of mortal power. Vegeta seeks to know the name of this fallen king, his curiosity piqued by the description of a version of himself who achieved the rank of a galactic ruler. Aeos refuses to provide the name, dismissing the query as irrelevant because the individual is long dead and the story has become boring to her. The fallen angel reiterates that she did not come to the seventh universe to act as a historian, but to test the depths of the power that mortals have gained through their training with divine beings. She moves with a sudden, purposeful intent, opening another temporal rift to bring a new element into the psychological warfare she is conducting. Aeos reaches through the newly formed temporal rift and pulls Pan from Earth directly onto Beerus's planet, holding her aloft in front of Goku. Pan has tears in her eyes, her presence in this hostile environment serving as a cruel reminder of what is at stake. Aeos tells him not to forget what he is fighting for, using Pan's safety as a direct lever to manipulate his emotions. The cruelty of using a helpless family member as bait is a testament to the angel's sadistic nature and her lack of empathy for mortal life. Goku erupts in a state of pure shock and incandescent rage at the sight of his granddaughter in the clutches of the monster. He screams at Aeos to release her and to leave his family out of their conflict, labeling the angel a heartless monster for her actions. The aura of Goku flares with a renewed, violent intensity as he prepares to charge forward. He vows that if any harm comes to the child, he will never forgive the fallen angel, his words carrying the weight of an absolute and terrifying promise. In a desperate bid to save Pan, Goku dashes forward with blinding speed, his hand outstretched to catch her. Aeos, however, does not engage in combat, but instead tosses Pan out toward the empty landscape, forcing the Saiyan to choose between attacking his foe or saving Pan. Aeos mocks his priorities, questioning how much he is truly willing to risk for the ones he loves. The fallen angel's sadistic joy is evident as she watches Goku scramble to prevent his granddaughter from hitting the ground with lethal force. As Goku reaches out to grab the falling Pan, Aeos slowly extends her own hand and creates a temporal rift directly in the path of Goku's charge. Goku is moving with such momentum that he is unable to stop himself, passing completely through the temporal rift and disappearing from the planet. Pan continues her freefall for a moment longer until she is safely caught, but her grandfather is now trapped in an unknown and desolate dimension. Aeos comments on how easily blind emotions can cloud a warrior's focus, satisfied that her trap has successfully removed the primary obstacle from the field. Vegeta catches Pan in his arms, his expression one of grim frustration as he realizes that his rival has been spirited away to a place beyond his reach. Aeos looks down at him and remarks that only one warrior now remains to face her, claiming that Goku lacked the necessary spine to do what was required to win. The angel asserts that a soft heart and misplaced anger are hindrances to true victory, noting that Goku was more focused on the child than the survival of his reality. Aeos assures Vegeta that his friend is still alive, having been sent to a cold, dark void where he must find his own way out. Aeos claims a spiritual kinship with Vegeta, describing them both as ruthless, cold individuals with a shared will to kill that their companion lacked. She posits that this killer instinct is what truly defines strength, and that their shared history of having their titles taken by unjustly powerful beings creates a bond between them. The fallen angel presents an ultimatum to the Prince of Saiyans, demanding that he demonstrate the full extent of the seventh universe's power, or face the total destruction of everything he holds dear. Aeos's tone is one of dark expectation, eager to see if the more vicious of them can provide a better challenge. The sudden arrival of the Grand Priest on Beerus's planet interrupts the ultimatum, his presence bringing an immediate and profound shift in the atmosphere. Aeos turns around, visibly startled by the unexpected appearance of her father, who regards his wayward daughter with a look of stern disapproval. Aeos adopts a condescending and sarcastic tone, greeting the Grand Priest as if their reunion were a pleasant social occasion. The tension between the two celestial beings is palpable, as the architect of the multiverse's order stands face to face with the rogue element that was thought to have been been erased long ago. The Grand Priest declares that the very existence of Aeos is unacceptable, stating that the angel should have been destroyed along with Universe Zero for violating the sacred codes of their kind. Aeos retorts with a bitter anger, accusing her father and the other gods of turning their backs on her and sentencing her to death over restrictive laws. She expresses a deep-seated vendetta against the Omni-King and the celestial hierarchy for their inaction during the erasure of the 6 previous universes. The fallen angel asserts her independence, claiming that she no longer answers to anyone and will not let those who abandoned her escape her wrath. Vegeta, still holding Pan, intervenes in the divine argument by warning Aeos that her current path is one of suicidal stupidity. He tells the rogue angel that she is only ensuring her own destruction by continuing her assault on the multiverse and its creators. Aeos dismisses the warning with a flick of her hand, stating that she does not care for the opinions of mortals or the warnings of her kin. She creates another temporal rift behind her, signaling her intent to depart the battlefield for the time being. Aeos vanishes into the void of her own making, leaving behind a promise that the game will resume at another time and place. Whis approaches the Grand Priest and offers a sincere apology for his failure to stop the rogue angel earlier, explaining that he did not want to break the angelic code of neutrality. The Grand Priest accepts the apology, noting that no angel is permitted to use their full power without a direct order. He confirms that Aeos has been in hiding for generations, and reassures his son that the Fallen One will be tracked down and dealt with. Vegeta inquires about the method for stopping an opponent who can read minds, counter every move with ease, and possesses power far beyond that of a mortal. He points out that they are currently powerless to even touch Aeos, who seems to have a hidden, complex plan that she is methodically carrying out. The Grand Priest responds that while the angel is immensely powerful, there is still a way to achieve victory, though it will require the combined efforts of Goku and Vegeta. He reveals that he has an idea of where Goku has been sent, and that he must be retrieved to save their world. Inside the dark and heavy void, Goku wanders through an environment that feels entirely lifeless and devoid of any recognizable landmarks. He comments on the oppressive nature of the air and his inability to sense any familiar signatures, realizing that he is truly isolated in this empty dimension. Despite the cold and the silence, his resolve remains unbroken, as he vows to find a way back and protect his family from the angel's machinations. He swears on the safety of Pan that he will not allow Aeos to go unpunished for using his loved ones as leverage in their battle. Goku suddenly detects a faint but powerful presence within the darkness, a flickering energy that stands out against the absolute emptiness of the void. He attempts to use the technique of instant transmission to lock onto the source, but the unique properties of the dimension make it impossible to gain a stable fix. After several failed attempts, he physically bumps into an individual whose silhouette is eerily similar to that of the Omni-King. Goku expresses his surprise at finding anyone else in this desolate place, questioning whether this mysterious figure was the source of the energy he felt. The mysterious individual regards Goku with a sense of mild curiosity, noting that it has been billions of years since a mortal last set foot in this realm. He explains that this is not a place where humans, gods of destruction, or even angels typically venture, and he correctly surmises that he was sent here by an outside force. The figure observes the cloud of worry and fear within the warrior's mind, reassuring him that his friends and family are currently safe in their own time. He identifies Aeos as the Fallen One, and indicates that the current game being played is far more complex than a simple test of strength. Back on Earth, Whis returns Vegeta and Pan to their home, fulfilling his promise to ensure their safety while the angels handle the situation with Aeos. Gohan and Videl are shown in a state of frantic worry, having been unable to find their daughter after her sudden disappearance. When Vegeta arrives at Gohan's door and returns the child, the relief felt by the parents is overwhelming. Gohan expresses his deep gratitude, but also questions how Pan ended up with the Prince of Saiyans, sensing that something far more dangerous than a simple accident has occurred. Vegeta remains stoic and silent in the face of Gohan's questions, his mind preoccupied with the looming threat of the rogue angel. He instructs Gohan to immediately begin training and to return to his peak fighting condition, warning him that he will be needed when the call to battle comes. Vegeta departs without further explanation, leaving Gohan to speculate whether another tournament or an even greater threat is on the horizon. Vegeta returns to Capsule Corporation, only to find that Bulma is already hosting an unexpected and highly dangerous guest in their backyard. Aeos sits casually in the garden with a cup of tea, engaging in a polite conversation with Bulma, as if she were a longtime family friend. She praises Bulma for her legendary bravery, noting that she is the only mortal she has heard of who slapped a god of destruction and lived to tell the tale. Bulma, unaware of the angel's true nature or the previous battle, treats her with her typical hospitality, even suggesting that she should visit more often to sample the planet's world-class cuisine. Vegeta watches the scene with a mixture of horror and fury, knowing that the fallen angel is merely deceiving his wife for her own amusement. In the void, the mysterious figure produces a massive spread of food out of thin air, demonstrating a power of creation that rivals the destructive forces Goku is familiar with. He tells the warrior that his first mistake is relying only on what his eyes can see, explaining that anything is possible with the right perspective and evolution of spirit. He reminds him of a fundamental truth that his previous teachers may have overlooked, that before destruction can occur, there must first be creation. Goku watches in shock as he is invited to eat and prepare for the challenges ahead, realizing that this individual possesses wisdom and power beyond his comprehension. On Earth, Aeos uses a small temporal rift to intercept the sweets Bulma has prepared, enjoying the textures and flavors with a genuine sense of delight. She remarks that she hasn't tasted anything so good since her time in Universe Zero, and for a brief moment, the tension of the encounter is masked by the mundane act of eating. Vegeta demands that the angel leave their home immediately once she is finished, but Aeos ignores the command, stating that she has approximately 30 minutes before Whis tracks her down. She declares that this window of time will be used to finally witness the prime height of his strength in a direct confrontation. Aeos stands up and reveals a terrifying truth about the surrounding environment, pointing out the absolute silence that has fallen over the bustling metropolis of South City. She notes that for a city of its size, there is a suspicious lack of noise from the millions of people who should be inhabiting it. Vegeta realizes with a jolt of terror that the streets are empty and the populace has vanished, leaving the city a literal ghost town. Aeos manipulates time to appear instantly behind him, snapping her fingers to signal the beginning of their final match as the stakes for the entire planet reach a devastating new peak.